When I first went to America, I was fascinated by how important work was. And I came back after about a year and a half, and I remember getting on a tube with the Evening Standard, and there was a piece in it by A.J. Ayer, one of the great philosophers.
Yes, the logical positivist.
I can still remember that what he was saying was that the first people who went off to America, New England, were the Puritans. Yeah. And when they sort of sat down and said, well, what could we do? He said, well, shall we have a dance? No, we can't do that. No theatre. And what else could we do? We played cards. No, that's not allowed. So in the end, the only thing they could really do was work. And I still see a very strong Puritan streak in America.
Yeah, hugely.
Between good and bad. I mean, I don't like smoking, and I'd rather it didn't, but the savagery with which the non-smokers will persecute the smokers is just stupid.
Yeah.
So is there anything there in that with what we're talking about with work? I mean, in fact, can't we just play cricket or read books?
It would be wonderful. The trouble is, I personally have been poisoned by the work ethic in that I am addicted to it. I have above my desk a quotation from Noel Coward, which is, work is more fun than fun. And I've been very lucky to find that so. If I have a day off...
because you're doing something that...
is enjoyable.
It's really enjoyable.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, there's three types of work. There's work you hate.
Yeah.
And then there's work you love, and then there's work where you like bits and don't like other bits. And so you try to do as much of the things you like and as little of the things you don't like. But it's all like that. But if you love your work, why would you want to stop?
Exactly.
If you can, presumably the new problem is, well, what do you count as work?
Exactly. What I count as work, other people wouldn't. A lot of people would say, how fabulous that I'm going to retire, or how fabulous I'm no longer working. I can garden. I'd rather eat my own legs than dig and fork and be a Monty Don. But he obviously enjoys it, and lots of people do. And they wouldn't like doing the things I do, you know, writing and things. As you know, writing is agony. I mean, absolute agony.
The people I feel sorry for are the businessmen, because they really are motivated by money. Now, when you give them all the money that they could have earned if they worked hard, they're going to be in a terrible position.
You talk about A.J. Ayer is very interesting, because in philosophy, he and his fellow Vienna school, you know, the scientistist types, basically felt that ethics as a branch of philosophy had died. It was no longer particularly interesting. It was, you'd teach it in universities, you know, and things, you know. But then technology, biotechnology, as well as the internet and other things, have meant now that people can leave university with a master's or a doctorate in ethics, and they'll get a 6-figure opening salary at big corporations, because ethics is at the heart of the problems that we're talking about. How do you decide what is an ethical artificial intelligence? How do you decide what is an ethical way to lay people off work and to keep them happy?
So the corporations are studying this really seriously.
They're trying to. I mean, there has been a wave of firing in Silicon Valley lately, and some ethicists have gone. But I remember seeing a Berkeley University. You have to say that. Obviously, the pronunciation is Berkeley.
You know what a graduate is called.
No, Berkeley, presumably. But there was a philosophical quarterly from Berkeley magazine, and it just said at the top, philosophy, no longer just a stylish route to poverty, ? Suddenly it was becoming the hottest discipline in universities, philosophy.
Wonderful.
And it is exciting, because there is so much to think about. And all of us are free to do that.
Are the Bill Gates is thinking about it?
He does. He is a thoughtful man, I think, isn't he?
But the ones who really spend all this money trying to get into space on their own rockets...
Well, they follow a branch of philosophy that is not very academically fashionable or admired, which is objectivism, which is the philosophy of Ayn Rand.
Oh, yes.
The sort of libertarian philosophy of the Fountainhead and Atlas Shrugged, which are more popular now than in her own time. Peter Thiel, for example, who's a very powerful investor in all kinds of things, he's a great admirer of Ayn Rand. And there's a new philosophy called Longtermism, which sounds rather admirable. We've always thought bad thing about politics is so short term. But this is a totally different thing. This regards the future of humanity in hundreds, if not thousands of years, is the most important thing we can think about. And